Have you ever read something where, every single sentence is grammatically perfect, but the whole thing just feels clunky, kind of disconnected, like a bunch of facts that just aren't talking to each other? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on what makes writing actually flow. We're going to find those invisible threads that hold it all together. Okay, let's start with a little example. Just read this with me. Juan has a dog. The animal is brown. The canine barks a lot. Pedro likes the mammal. I mean, technically it's fine, right? Every sentence works. But it feels so wrong, doesn't it? It's just choppy. It's like a list of random facts that's trying to pass itself off as a paragraph. So that's the big question, isn't it? Why? If all the grammar is correct, what is the missing ingredient? It's a bit of a puzzle, but the answer is this one. Really powerful idea. And here it is. The solution is cohesion. I want you to think of it like this. It's the set of invisible threads that a good writer weaves between sentences. It's the secret sauce that turns a jumble of facts into a single, beautiful piece of fabric. So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to define what these invisible threads really are. Then we'll look at threads of reference, some very cool grammatical shortcuts, and the connectors that join ideas. After that, we'll dive deep into the web of words, and finally, we'll see how to put it all together in weaving a coherent text. Sound good? Let's dive in. All right, first up, the invisible threads of text. So what exactly is this fabric of language we're talking about? Let's get a proper definition. Okay, so here's the formal definition from the linguists, Holiday and Hassan. Cohesion is about the lexical and grammatical relationships that connect a text. Whoa, that sounds a bit academic, right? All it really means is that it's the network of connections, both in vocabulary and grammar, that turns a messy pile of words into a single, meaningful message. So let's look at our first type of thread, threads of reference. Think of these as little pointers, like tiny arrows inside your text that point back to something you've already mentioned. This helps you connect ideas without repeating yourself over and over. Just look at how simple and elegant this is. She points directly back to Mrs. Thatcher. It's just a simple pronoun, but it's doing so much work, isn't it? It connects the two sentences smoothly, and we don't have to say Mrs. Thatcher again. That right there is a thread of reference in action. But these threads can be even more powerful. Check this out. In this example, what does the word this point to? It's not just Mrs. Thatcher. It's pointing to the entire idea, the fact that she resigned. One tiny little word is standing in for a whole complex event. That is some seriously efficient writing. Okay, let's move on to our next set of threads, grammatical shortcuts. This is where language gets really, really clever. It uses two tricks, substitution and something called ellipses, to make writing feel so much more natural and dynamic. I mean, this is all about not sounding like a robot. Repeating the word acts just feels clunky and repetitive. But when you substitute it with the word one, the whole sentence just feels lighter. We know exactly what one means, but it flows a million times better. Now let's talk about substitution's very close cousin, ellipsis. Ellipsis is basically the art of leaving words out on purpose. It's a cool grammatical move where you just omit words that everybody already understands from the context. It lets the reader's brain fill in the blank, which makes things feel way more concise. Check this out. Joan brought some carnations, and Catherine some sweet peas. Did you see it? The verb brought is completely gone from the second half of the sentence. But I bet you didn't even notice, did you? Our brains just automatically fill it in. That's not a mistake, that's an intentional choice that makes the writing feel so much cleaner and more elegant. Next up, Section 4, connectors. Now, these are probably the most visible of all our invisible threads. These are your conjunctions, the little words that straight up tell you the logical relationship between different ideas. Words like and, but, so, and because, they're basically the traffic signs of writing. They guide the reader, they tell you exactly how to interpret what's coming next. And tells you we're adding a similar idea. But signals a sharp turn or contrast. So means we're about to see a result. Seriously, without these connectors, we'd all be lost, just guessing how one idea is supposed to relate to the next. All right, let's get into our final and maybe the most subtle type of cohesion, the web of words. This is what's known as lexical cohesion, and it's all about creating these deep connections just through the words you choose. So this web gets woven in a few different ways. You've got simple repetition, of course, or using synonyms like car and automobile. But what's really cool is that even opposites, like love and hate, create a connection because they exist on the same spectrum of meaning. You also get links between a general category and a specific example, like furniture and chair, or a part and its whole, like a wheel and a bicycle. All these vocabulary choices build this incredible network of meaning.
And this leads us to this fantastic idea called collocation, which is just a fancy way of saying that certain words tend to hang out together. So if a text mentions rain, you're probably not going to be surprised to also see words like pouring, torrential, or wet. These associated words create this strong thematic cloud, this shared atmosphere that really holds the text together and makes it feel focused.
Okay, time to bring it all home. Let's weave the text. We're going to take everything we just learned and put it into practice. Remember that broken, clunky paragraph from the very beginning? Yeah, let's go fix it. Remember this mess? Well, look at it now. Juan has a dog named Max. The brown canine barks a lot, but Pedro likes him anyway. See? It actually flows. So let's break down why. We used synonymy, swapping dog for canine. We used reference with the pronoun him. And we used a connector, but, to signal that contrast. All our different threads are finally working together in harmony. And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway. In really great writing, no word is an island. The word's importance comes from its function inside the entire text. So it's not just about the words you choose, it's about the relationships you build between them. That's what it's all about.
So here's my challenge to you. The next time you read something that you absolutely love, something that just flows beautifully, I want you to look closer. Now that you know about the pronouns and the connectors and this whole web of words, will you be able to see the invisible threads? I'm willing to bet you will. Thanks for digging into cohesion with me.